When Friedrich Nietzsche wrote about love, women, and truth, he was not writing to please but to disturb. Nietzsche was not interested in the romantic illusions that people build around relationships. He was not interested in the sweet lies lovers whisper to each other to keep the fire burning. Instead, he asked a dangerous question: what if honesty in love is impossible? What if women, by their very nature, by their role in survival, by the forces of instinct and desire, cannot be fully honest in love? This does not mean women are malicious or deceitful by choice. Nietzsche did not see dishonesty in love as moral failure. Instead, he saw it as structural, as something woven into the very fabric of human attraction. To him, love itself is an illusion, a mask, a performance. And women, because of their evolutionary position, because of their relation to power and survival, because of the way they carry the future through reproduction, are forced to embody this performance more than men. In today's video, we will explore Nietzsche's brutal and unsettling truth about why women will never be fully honest in love. We will break this down into 7 parts, each one unraveling a layer of Nietzsche's insight. From the instincts driving women's choices, to the masks they wear in relationships, to the way their love always contains a hidden calculation. By the end, you will see why Nietzsche thought that what men call truth in love is a contradiction, and why women's dishonesty is not betrayal, but a necessity. So let us begin with the first 2 parts of this journey into Nietzsche's philosophy of women, love, and deception. Part 1: The instinct behind the mask. Nietzsche believed that everything about human behavior is rooted in will to power, the fundamental drive not merely to survive, but to expand, dominate, and perpetuate oneself. Love, in this view, is not some angelic force descending from the heavens. It is instinct dressed up in poetry. When Nietzsche looked at women, he saw beings shaped by nature to secure life at all costs. For women, love is never only about passion or purity. Beneath the surface, love carries instinctual calculations, the need for protection, the drive to secure strong offspring, the demand for survival in a world historically ruled by men's violence and authority. This is not cynicism but biology, and it is why Nietzsche believed that women, more than men, are forced into the art of the mask. He writes in Beyond Good and Evil that woman is so artistic, in her essence, that deception becomes second nature. This is not vanity or cruelty but necessity. In love, women cannot reveal every thought, every doubt, every pragmatic calculation that hides beneath her words of devotion. If she were brutally honest, and if she said, "I love you because you provide security," or "I desire you because you raise my social standing," or "I stay because you protect me from loneliness," the spell would shatter, the man would recoil, the romantic illusion would collapse, and the very foundation of attraction would dissolve. Thus, the mask becomes part of the feminine essence in love. Her smile, her gentleness, her apparent surrender in all her forms of performance, not lies in the moral sense, but survival strategies that keep love alive. Nietzsche would say she cannot be fully honest because honesty would destroy the illusion that sustains love itself. And here lies Nietzsche's radical claim: truth is the enemy of love. If love is a structure of instinct and illusion, then the woman who is honest beyond the mask kills the very thing she tries to preserve. Her dishonesty, then, is not betrayal of love. It is the very condition for its possibility. This is why Nietzsche often mocked the men who demand complete honesty from women. He thought such men were naive, blind to the very laws of life. For him, to demand that a woman be fully truthful in love is like demanding that a flower reveal its roots while still blooming. The roots are hidden because they must be hidden, and without that hiddenness, the beauty collapses. Part 2: The necessity of illusion. To go deeper into Nietzsche's philosophy, we must understand why he thought illusion is not just present in love, but absolutely necessary. Nietzsche was always suspicious of the human obsession with truth. In his view, truth is often unbearable. destructive, too heavy for human beings to carry. That is why illusions, myths, and masks are necessary for life itself. Without them, we would collapse under the weight of raw reality. Nowhere is this more evident than in love. Think about it. Love requires us to believe that the person we adore is the one, that they are unique, irreplaceable, that our bond with them transcends utility and instinct. But Nietzsche would argue that these beliefs are illusions. We are not drawn to people because of some eternal soul connection. We are drawn by instinct, by need, by chance. And yet to experience love as meaningful, we must cover instinct with poetry. Women, Nietzsche believed, are more deeply entangled in this necessity of illusion. Because of their position in reproduction and survival, they must not only live inside illusions, but also project them. This is why he claimed that women are more artistic than men. Love for them is not just a private emotion. It is a performance that sustains the bond, keeps the man invested, and secures her place in the relationship. Think of the countless ways this plays out. The little exaggerations of affection, the carefully chosen silences, the moments of feigned innocence or subtle flattery. These are not malicious tricks. They are illusions that keep the man enchanted. If a woman stripped all this away and spoke in pure, raw truth, "I need you because I cannot afford to raise children alone," or "I only stay because no better option has come," the enchantment would break. The man would feel used, and the structure of the relationship would collapse. Nietzsche would say, the woman knows, whether consciously or instinctively, that love cannot survive naked truth. Illusion is its oxygen. Her dishonesty is not optional. It is the very air that keeps love alive. This is why Nietzsche insisted that women will never be fully honest in love, because if they were, love itself would die. The man would lose the poetry of devotion and see only the mechanics of survival. And no human being can bear love stripped down to cold instinct. Part 3. Love as a struggle for power. When Nietzsche spoke of love, he rarely spoke of it in the language of harmony. He did not see love as a soft union of souls, but as a battlefield. Beneath the surface of affection and intimacy, he saw conflict, a struggle for dominance, for control, for survival. This is why Nietzsche connected love directly to his concept of the will to power. Every human being, he argued, seeks expansion of their influence, to impose their vision, to assert themselves over others. Love, far from suspending this struggle, intensifies it. In love, two wills to power collide, each trying to bend the other into their orbit. And here Nietzsche believed women hold an advantage, because their survival historically depended not on brute force but on subtle influence, persuasion, and strategy. Women developed a mastery of power that operates through indirection. Where men might dominate openly through strength, women dominate through illusion, seduction, withdrawal, and emotional leverage. For Nietzsche, this explains why women can never be fully honest in love. Honesty would strip them of their most effective tools of influence. If a woman confessed every calculation, every fear, every hidden motive, she would surrender her advantage in the power struggle. She would expose her strategy, and in doing so, she would lose the very leverage that ensures her survival. This is why Nietzsche described women as inherently strategic in love. He did not mean they are consciously manipulative in every action, but that their nature, shaped by thousands of years of survival under male dominance, became attuned to the subtleties of influence. Their apparent vulnerability becomes a weapon. Their tenderness becomes a tool. Their silence becomes a form of speech. The dishonesty of love, then, is not about deception in the ordinary sense. It is about concealment as power. Women conceal their full truth not only to protect the illusion of romance, but also to maintain control in the relationship. A woman who reveals everything, her desires, her doubts, her strategies, becomes defenseless. But a woman who keeps something hidden always maintains power. Part 4. The Eternal Feminine and the Art of Seduction. Nietzsche often returned to the idea of the eternal feminine, not as some mystical divine principle, but as the essence of woman's role in the drama of life. For him, the eternal feminine was bound up with mystery, with concealment, with seduction. Woman was not the bearer of truth, but the guardian of illusion. Seduction, in Nietzsche's thought, is not a game of superficial tricks. It is the deep ability to create appearances that bind and enchant. A woman seduces not merely by her physical beauty, but by the way she withholds, the way she reveals selectively, the way she makes a man feel as though he is chosen, unique, irreplaceable, even when, beneath the mask, her instincts are calculating other options. This is why Nietzsche said that woman is essentially an artist. Her art is not found in paintings or music, but in the theater of life, in the way she shapes appearances, creates atmospheres, and sustains illusions. In love, this artistry becomes indispensable. Without it, the relationship collapses under the weight of truth. Think of how seduction works. It thrives on half-truths, on ambiguity, on suggestion rather than full revelation. A woman does not tell a man everything she feels or thinks. She lets him believe what he wishes to believe. She allows him to project his fantasies onto her, and she plays her part in sustaining those fantasies. This is not cruelty. It is artistry. It is the way she keeps him enchanted. Nietzsche would argue that the dishonesty of women in love is identical to the artistry of seduction. She is never fully honest, because full honesty destroys the atmosphere of enchantment. If she confessed every motive, every calculation, every doubt, she would no longer be a mystery, and without mystery, seduction dies. This is also why Nietzsche mocked the men who demand complete transparency in relationships. To him, such men are Philistines, unable to appreciate the artistry of illusion. They want to turn love into a contract of facts, when in reality love can only exist as a work of art. Fragile, elusive, dependent on concealment. Part 5. Why truth destroys love. At this point, the question arises, why exactly is truth so destructive to love? Why does Nietzsche insist that full honesty would annihilate romance? The answer lies in his deeper philosophy of truth and illusion. Nietzsche was one of the first thinkers to argue that human beings cannot live in pure truth. If we stripped away every illusion about ourselves, about others, about the world, we would fall into despair. Illusions are not mistakes to be corrected. They are necessities for life. In love, the illusion is that we are chosen, that our relationship is eternal, that passion transcends utility. But if we see the truth, that attraction is driven by instinct, that devotion is mixed with calculation, that loyalty often hides self-interest, the spell of love breaks. And most people cannot endure love without the spell. This is why Nietzsche believed women will never be fully honest in love, because if they were, the relationship would collapse. Imagine a woman saying with cold truth, "I stay with you because you are the best provider available." Or, "I love you because no better option has appeared." Even if these statements contained elements of truth, their revelation would poison the relationship. Men, Nietzsche thought, crave this brutal honesty, but they cannot survive it. They want to know the truth of their woman's heart. But if they ever received it in full, they would be devastated. They would discover that love is not pure, not sacred, not unconditional, but a game of instinct, survival, and illusion. Thus, the dishonesty of women in love is not betrayal, but mercy. It protects men from truths they cannot endure. It allows them to live inside the necessary illusion that makes love feel meaningful. Women, consciously or not, understand this, and that is why they will never give men the full truth. Part 6. The male illusion of total possession. One of Nietzsche's most brutal observations about love is that men, more than women, are enslaved by the fantasy of total possession. Men want to believe that when a woman loves them, she belongs entirely to them, body, soul, desire, and truth. This craving for absolute devotion is one of the most dangerous illusions in love. Nietzsche recognized that this illusion is rooted in insecurity. Men, aware of the fragility of their hold over a woman's heart, long for complete honesty as proof of loyalty. They want transparency, not because they love truth, but because they fear betrayal. When a man demands that a woman reveal all, it is his way of saying, "I want to know that you are mine completely." But here lies the problem. A woman will never give this. not because she is disloyal, but because her nature and survival instincts forbid it. She must always keep part of herself hidden. This hiddenness ensures that she never surrenders all her power, that she retains a piece of her mystery, that she is never fully vulnerable to the man's dominance. Nietzsche saw this as a clash of illusions. The man's illusion is that he can possess a woman entirely, body and soul. The woman's reality is that she must always preserve a space of concealment to survive. These two forces can never fully align. The man craves a truth the woman cannot give. The woman preserves illusions the man cannot accept. This is why Nietzsche said that love is doomed to tension, to struggle, to disappointment. The male fantasy of total possession collides with the feminine necessity of concealment. Men will always feel that women are withholding something, and women will always feel that men demand too much. But Nietzsche did not see this as tragedy. He saw it as the truth of love. Love is not harmony, it is conflict. Love is not total union, it is a dance of masks. Part 7. The wisdom of embracing the mask. Nietzsche was never sentimental about love, but he was not entirely despairing either. His philosophy was not a rejection of women or relationships, but a call to a deeper understanding. If love is built on illusion, then wisdom is not to destroy the illusion, but to embrace it consciously. This is where Nietzsche's thought becomes radical. He believed that the superior man does not demand truth from women. He already knows that full truth is impossible. Instead, he plays along with the illusion, aware of its necessity and even delights in it. To him, love is like theater. The actors may not reveal everything, but the play is more powerful because of the masks. This attitude requires strength. Weak men collapse when they discover a woman's dishonesty because they confuse it with betrayal. Strong men recognize that dishonesty in love is not betrayal, but the law of life. They stop demanding what women cannot give. They accept mystery as part of love's essence. Nietzsche would argue that only such men are capable of real freedom in relationships. They do not cling to the illusion of possession. They do not crumble when they realize that their lover's devotion is mixed with instinct and strategy. Instead, they embrace it. They admire the artistry. They see the mask not as a lie, but as beauty itself. This is why Nietzsche so often connected women with art. Just as art does not reveal truth directly, but creates illusions that give life meaning, so too do women in love. The dishonesty of women is not ugliness, it is art. And the man who cannot see this will forever be tormented by his desire for truth. Nietzsche's final lesson on women and love. As we conclude, let us return to the central claim: women will never be fully honest in love. Nietzsche did not say this to insult women, but to awaken men from their illusions. He wanted us to see that love is not a temple of truth, but a theater of masks. Women, more than men, are forced by instinct and survival to master this art of concealment. Their dishonesty is not weakness or betrayal, but strength. The strength to preserve the illusion that makes love possible. For Nietzsche, the tragedy is not that women are dishonest in love. The tragedy is that men cannot accept it. They demand transparency where none can exist. They demand total possession where mystery is necessary. They turn love into torment because they do not understand its nature. So the next time you find yourself asking whether your partner is being fully honest, remember Nietzsche's lesson: she cannot be. And that is not a failure, it is the essence of love. To demand otherwise is to destroy the very thing you seek. Love is not about stripping away the mask. Love is about learning to see the mask, to admire its artistry, and to embrace the illusion that makes life bearable. That is Nietzsche's brutal but liberating truth.